What's going on, guys? In this video I'm going to give you an update on Sphere 3D. We're going to go over their last mining update. I haven't talked about this one yet. And we're also going to look at Bitcoin on the chart. I'm going to show you how close we are to the halving. That's right, soon Bitcoin's incoming supply every 10 minutes will get cut from 6 Bitcoin per block down to 3 Bitcoin per block. And as of this upload, we're still waiting for the Fed's decision. Likely a pause. And soon to come is going to be rate cuts, which will overall help these small cap stocks that need to acquire debt or need to dilute shareholders. But let's get started on this video, guys. If you like these, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. And first off, let's take a look at Bitcoin. We are seeing a pretty okay day today. We're right now back into the 42,000s. And I'm personally still watching for this trend, this green ascending line. I do think if we get to it and break down from it, the market will react to it. And we may potentially see Bitcoin come down all the way to 38,000, which to me would be a welcome pullback. Just like stocks of Bitcoin, it doesn't always just go up and to the right. We do see pullbacks along the way. And even in huge bull cycles, we will see pullbacks along the way, buying opportunities. But Bitcoin is doing perfectly fine, and it was only about a week ago that we saw yearly highs. And I personally expect by the end of the year, Bitcoin will be higher in price. We're only a few weeks from finding out if that's going to be the case or not. But regardless of what Bitcoin does through the rest of this year, next year we have the halving. And we're talking only about 4 months away. And just like in previous halvings, I do expect price to appreciate in anticipation of the halving, as it's already been doing over the last couple months. But the clock is ticking, and soon the incoming supply for Bitcoin will get cut in half. And as demand grows, as the hype grows, potential spot Bitcoin ETFs get approved, Fed rate cuts helping the economy, and less incoming Bitcoin. This will all contribute to Bitcoin's price going up massively to levels we've never seen before. So as I've said, my opinion with Bitcoin is every dip is a buying opportunity, as it has been through pretty much all of 2023. Now, I did want to give you an update on Sphere 3D. Their mining update came out a couple of days ago, but I did want to talk about it. And in the month of November, they mined about 71 Bitcoin, which is 4% up from October and 596% up year over year. Their hash rate remains the same from October at a 1.3 exahash, and this is a 13x from where they were a year ago. But keep in mind, they were literally just starting out with their Bitcoin mining venture, and that was back around when they were dealing with the whole Griffin merger and all that nonsense. And you might look at this small hash rate and say, why not get into a different Bitcoin miner? And one thing you have to think about is a lot of the other Bitcoin miners are hundreds of millions, if not billions in market cap. Meanwhile, we have a company here that's right around a $20 million market cap, extremely small market cap, and they're already mining over 1 exahash. And just for the sake of it, let's compare CleanSpark's market cap to Sphere 3D and CleanSpark's hash rate to Sphere 3D. We all know CleanSpark is over a 10 exahash now, so they're about 10x in hash rate compared to Sphere 3D. And currently Sphere 3D is sitting at an $18 million market cap, while CleanSpark's sitting at 1.7 billion. So CleanSpark's mining 10 times the hash rate, while being 100 times the market cap of Sphere 3D. And of course, there's obviously more to look at: balance sheet, revenue, earnings expectations, profitability expectations. But looking at hash rate to market cap alone, Sphere 3D is one of the most undervalued in the Bitcoin mining space. And subsequently, it just so happens it's one of the most high risk. But I do expect Sphere 3D to outperform a lot of the Bitcoin miners just due to its small market cap alone. But keep in mind, it is very high risk, and there's a lot of larger miners out there that expect to be profitable sooner than Sphere 3D, if Sphere 3D ever gains profitability. But I do think this stock is worth keeping an eye on, and we'll look at the chart in a second, and I'll show you when I'd be very bullish on the chart. But going back to their mining update, their uptime was 86% uptime. Not as good as the CleanSparks of the world, but still not terrible. And looking month over month, they mined 69 Bitcoin in October, whereas they mined 71 in November. They sold 65 in November, so it does look like they're working on holding a little bit more, focusing on that hodl. Now sitting at 18 Bitcoin. Yes, it's not a lot, but also you have to consider their market cap is micro. Their deployed miners did tick up from 12,450 to nearly 13,000, 12,800 specifically, and their hash rate is at a 1.3 exahash. And we have some words from the CEO, and I want to fast forward to this part here. We installed an additional 1,000 miners in November, 350 of which were tested and energized. The remaining miners should come online in December, and we should see the results in the coming months. So this will probably give them around another 0.1 exahash, getting them probably closer to around 80, maybe 90 Bitcoin mined per month. As curtailments continue to improve, we should be earning at full capacity. We're looking at various options in the market to maximize earning power and efficiency of our machines. We also have a Core scientific update. So November 21, also in connection with the bankruptcy proceeding, Core initiated an adversary proceeding against Sphere 3D and Griffin. And on November 25, Core filed a motion to consolidate the adversary proceeding with the contested matter and to vacate the trial schedule in the contested matter, which Sphere opposed. Now on December 1, the bankruptcy court denied Core's motion. And Sphere 3D anticipates that the bankruptcy court will hold a merits hearing in the first quarter of 2024 to resolve its claims in the contested matter. And this is interesting, we also have a halving update. They say that they're focusing on various alternatives and are considering all options for growth, including but not limited to adding exahash organically, mergers and acquisitions, as well as other options. It'd be really interesting to see one of the other larger miners buy Sphere 3D, and just due to their very small market cap and considering their current exahash, a company could buy Sphere 3D for very cheap and gain a whole 1 exahash. So that is something interesting. I do think there's a very big possibility that Sphere 3D could become a acquisition target by one of the larger miners. So overall, that's a decent mining update. Not very impressive, but not terrible either compared to past updates. And it's nice to see that they have more machines coming online in December, but I don't really think that'll increase their exahash by much. They may mine another somewhere around 5, maybe 10 Bitcoin per month. But looking at the chart, we've been recently seeing a lot of spikes here lately on huge increasing volume. If you guys remember, about a week ago, they had like a 50% up day, and I do think there will be more insane upward moves to come, but the chart has me a bit hesitant. We are still bearish. We're still under most of the EMAs. They're in a bearish order, and one thing I'm really watching for is a break finally above the 200 EMA, which right now is sitting right around $2. Now you'll notice throughout Sphere 3D's recent history, we have never crossed over that 200 EMA ever since we fell through it back in November 2021 at the end of the bull market. So I personally think it'll be very important to see how Sphere 3D behaves around the 200 EMA, and if we can see a break above it, we may see a further push and eventually a cross of the EMAs, but we're not there yet. Now, where the moving averages are concerned, we have broken above the 200 EMA a few times before. However, it was very short-lived. I personally would prefer to kind of wait on Sphere 3D, look for a more bullish chart, be patient. And some of you might be saying, well, what if it bottomed out already? You're going to miss on outsized returns. I personally think there's plenty of returns to come, even if you get in a little late. And by doing so, by waiting for a more bullish chart, you don't have to take the risk of, what if this creates new lows? I mean, it was just in the beginning of December that Sphere 3D created new lows. It hasn't even been more than 2 weeks since. So I would just exercise caution with this one, especially with these record high interest rates. But I do plan on getting in this before the halving, and I do think the chart will look bullish by then. One thing that probably wouldn't be a horrible idea if you wanted to get in now would be to set a stop loss right around $1, which if we get there would also imply we're breaking the 50 MA. And of course, breaking the psychological dollar level could bring some more fear. But I do think within maybe a month and a half, I will be getting into Sphere 3D. I do think just due to its very small market cap, and honestly amazing hash rate when considering their small market cap, I do think this one will see some huge gains in 2024, but I'm still exercising caution on it, and I'm watching how it's going to perform if it does, when it does break $2. And you know, I believe patience is key. Let's look at last cycle. It bottomed out back in March, and just keep in mind, this probably wouldn't have happened if we didn't have, you know, the event that happened back then. Beginning of 2020 all the way to March, we saw that V-shaped recovery. So if it wasn't for that, I do believe Sphere 3D would have bottomed out in December. Interesting, right? And so maybe, you know, just looking halving to halving, maybe we will in fact bottom out here in December. I think it's more than possible. But look at this, even if you waited for a bullish cross, a golden cross, you would have still enjoyed a huge run, and it would have mitigated the risk of a dead cat bounce or a false breakout and then going on to create new lows. And let me remind you guys, before you think this went to like $70-$80, this is all split adjusted. At Sphere 3D's peak, it went to like $8 on some fake Elon Musk news joining the board. And I saw that as a good time to get rid of a lot of my shares, just due to a false news hype. I made the mistake of not selling everything. I do think it'll be a very fun couple of years for Sphere 3D, and it's going to see some outsized returns, like I said, compared to a lot of the Bitcoin miners, just due to its very small cap price. And consider this, just for it to get to 100 million, that's right around a 5x just from here. And 100 million would still be much cheaper than a lot of the miners. We have miners near 700-800 million, so I think it's more than reasonable to expect that Sphere 3D can in a very short time get to 100 million in market cap. But keep in mind, there's a very high risk stop, But keep in mind, this is a very high risk stock, and it probably wouldn't hurt to set a stop loss if you're more short term minded on this one. As for me, I'm patiently waiting for a more bullish chart, and then I'll start riding the hype from there. And yes, that'll mean that I didn't catch the bottom under $1, but that also takes the risk away if we actually start falling back down and creating new lows. I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago that we saw new lows. Hope you guys get what I'm trying to convey here. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about Sphere 3D. How are you feeling about CleanSpark today? Definitely a nice day for most of the miners. And keep an eye on the Fed meeting. What's going to be very big is their projections. What are we expecting for the rest of 2024? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.